This is the Steve Shriver Podcast, where entrepreneur, adventurer, and community activist Steve Shriver shares what he's learned on his journey so you can make it in business and make it good. The big topic for this episode.
Thankfully, today we have a good friend of mine, Amara Andrews, on the episode, and she is running for the mayor of Cedar Rapids. And this is us acting locally right here, and we're going to do an interview with Amara right now.
We'll be right back. The Steve Shriver Podcast is brought to you by Ecolips, the original organic lip balm. Use the promo code PODCAST20 for 20% off your first order on ecolips.com. Ecolips, all natural organic lip balm. Deeply connected with nature, applying beneficial organic ingredients to better people's lives. A proud certified B Corp, founded in 2003. Ecolips, spread the good. And spread the promo code PODCAST20 into that promo code box. It's good for 20% off your first order on ecolips.com.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Shriver Podcast. This is a super special edition. We have our first guest that we've ever had on the show. We've recorded a dozen of these things, and we have a guest with us today, which is really exciting. And before we introduce our guest, I'm going to give you a little preface here. As you know, I believe in a triple bottom line. This is the gospel of entrepreneurship, this podcast is. And part of my ethos is operating and thinking globally, but acting locally. And so people around me know that, like, I do a lot of stuff in the community, and I really care about who runs the community, and I really like to be involved in this process. And so thankfully today we have a good friend of mine, Amara Andrews, on the episode, and she is running for the mayor of Cedar Rapids. And this is us acting locally right here, and we're going to do an interview with Amara right now. Hi, Amara.
Hi. Well, it's nice to know I'm your first guest ever.
Yeah.
Hello.
This is a big freaking deal.
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
This is going to make or break you, girl.
And you.
Yes, that's right. All right, yeah.
There's a lot at risk here.
Yeah, and also, where's my yard sign?
You just have to sign up online, Steve. Amara4cr.com. Sign up, and we will deliver the yard sign.
The other candidates, they didn't make me sign something online to...
That is not true.
Okay, you're right. Okay. Okay.
We're happy to deliver your yard sign, and
Okay,
I think I might know
cool.
where you live. So
okay, that's cool. Otherwise, I saw Sunderman's had two, and I'm going to go steal one of theirs.
And
Weir's
have two. Miranda has two as well. So
right.
We're hitting it hard over there.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But thank you so much for taking the time, and let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
I hear that you have. So this podcast is about entrepreneurship and business, and we can talk about other stuff, but like. That's the only thing that I know about, so that's what I'm going to steer the conversation
You
towards.
hike and climb mountains and do all kinds of things.
Doesn't take a brain to do that.
Well, it takes something.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever it is, I don't have it, but
Okay. Well, we should go climb a mountain.
let's do it.
Okay.
Honestly,
That's
after
cool.
November 2nd, when I win, we'll climb to whatever the highest peak is, and we'll celebrate.
Mount Trashmore.
Oh, gosh.
900 feet. Okay, so you have a history with entrepreneurship. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny because when I think about it, my history with entrepreneurship starts in Champaign, where I started an incubator program for startup companies. But as I sit here with you, I realize that is actually not the beginning. My mom is an entrepreneur, and she's a badass entrepreneur. She started a nonprofit in Los Angeles called Crystal Stairs, which is now one of the largest nonprofits in the state of California.
That's awesome.
And so, and also, as I think about it, my father had a private practice. He was a physician and ophthalmologist. He's now retired. So as I think about it, sitting here with you, I grew up in entrepreneurship. I mean, both of my parents had their own businesses, and so it's sort of what I know. It's in my blood. But as an occupation, it wasn't until I moved to the Midwest and worked at the University of Illinois in the College of Business. It's kind of a fun story. There are these two brothers, Al and Alex Goldstein, They had a startup called CashNet USA, which they sold for millions and millions and millions of dollars. And they're both at the time, they were very, very young. So they sold that company and then wanted to give back. So they gave $500,000 to the College of Business. And all they said was, this should go towards entrepreneurship.
That is awesome.
Totally awesome.
That is great.
Their success is awesome, and that they kind of gave this no strings attached money to the college. Well, I don't know if you have much experience working in higher ed, but everybody is tapped out. You know, you're teaching, you're running departments, and so there was nobody really to look into this effort. And so that's what I was hired to do. So we created a program called Illinois Launch, and our purpose was to create a sustainable incubator program for startup companies. Our first class, I'm trying to think of the year now.
I want to do this.
It was so fun. So we had our first class of entrepreneurs that came through. We gave them grants. We hooked them up with funders, and we sat all summer long listening to their pitches and developing business plans. It was really fun. And in that first class is our largest success, actually, a company called T, which is loose leaf tea that you can buy now at Target or gourmet food markets across the country.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Wow. Next time, bring some tea with you too.
I should. Yes.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool if like we were drinking that tea
We
right
should.
now.
Yes, next time for sure.
Or we'll just have tea one of these days. We'll just have tea. But that's really cool. So, what's the name of the company again? The tea company.
Tiesta Tea.
Tiesta Tea. Okay.
Yeah.
I am gonna go buy some of that today.
You should.
Because
You
A,
should.
I want to support them, and B, I like tea. Tea's good. Can't go wrong with tea. So, you said higher ed. So like, you've also got like a lower ed. Funny little story.
I do. Yeah.
I don't know if it's called lower ed, but
It's elementary school. Yeah. So also people don't know that before I went to law school, this is also an interesting story. So I graduated from UC Berkeley, and I planned to take a year off before going to law school. And at the time, there was a shortage of teachers in Los Angeles. And so they were giving anyone with a degree, they were giving them the opportunity to be a teacher. I mean, of course, the coveted schools weren't accepting. They were called emergency credentials. But in the inner city, you could teach with an emergency credential. And so I graduated. I was 21 years old when I graduated. And I got a job at 99th Street School Elementary in Watts, California, and taught third graders. And I'd never had any real work experience, frankly, and had never had a course in education or anything, and was responsible for these 28 children. And it was a blast. We had a good time. We had a lot of success, and I ended up liking it so much that I stayed in teaching for 4 years. But to your point, the interesting fact is that Richard Sherman, who is a corner in the NFL, a really successful corner at that, and went to Stanford, actually, he was in my very first class.
That's amazing. That's pretty cool. So do you like stay in touch?
I don't. I've actually reached out to him. He's not that easy to get a hold of, as you can imagine.
Right.
But maybe this
cool.
podcast will go viral, and he'll be
absolutely. We're going to tag him on Twitter.
We should.
And he's going to endorse you for mayor.
There you go.
And then you're going to, I mean, it's just only uphill from here.
Richard Sherman, Miss Scott is here running for mayor.
All right.
Cedar Rapids.
Let's talk about some business stuff in the community.
Let's do it.
Okay. So
you're making me nervous. You have notes? Let me pull out my notes.
This is going to be an I got you situation, so I hope you're ready for this.
Okay.
When you think about the business community in Cedar Rapids, what's missing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what's missing, well, there's quite a bit that I could think of. One is support from the city. And again, having been raised by the people that I was raised by, I mentioned my mom, I kind of have an affinity towards nonprofits and an appreciation towards the work that nonprofits do. And so I think that if we think about our business community, we could be investing more in the nonprofit sector. We've got a lot of really strong nonprofits that are doing great work in the community, and they could use more support from the city. I think we could do more, not only for nonprofits, but for the startup communities in finding grant opportunities, finding funding opportunities. There are lots from the state and from the feds. And as you know, most people who are operating small businesses, they're just grinding. They don't have the time to write grants and
No, we're
find
in the rat race.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we could provide that as a city to our startup community, to our nonprofits, to our small businesses.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I like when I'm hearing you talk, I'm hearing this holistic approach, because we do need, it's like, yeah, we need healthy, thriving businesses, but we also need healthy, thriving nonprofits, and we need a healthy, thriving city government. And we need to just look at the whole picture.
Yeah. Well, and we need a healthy, thriving workforce.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Are you going to fix that?
Well, we have a lot of workers in our community. I think there's something like close to 800,000 working people in the Cedar Rapids sort of radius. So there are a lot of people looking for work. And I know that there are a lot of employers looking for employees. It's about making these connections, but also ensuring that businesses can afford to pay good salaries. I think about the article I read recently, which you probably read, about FedEx coming here, which is amazing. But the majority of those jobs, the vast majority of those jobs, are part-time.
Yeah. I'm not into part-time jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
And we need to, we should be putting pressure on them to create real positions.
Real positions with
like
benefits. Yeah, for sure. So, we just need to ensure that we have people working, but also that we have businesses who are willing to pay good salaries, pay for full-time employees, because that's what the people of Cedar Rapids need.
Yep. So Ecolips is a B corporation. The B stands for benefit, and we get scored on the triple bottom line. And one thing that we track how many part-time employees we have, because, and I think we might have 2 out of our 150 or so, because it's globally, the experts that put the program together are like, part-time positions are bad. Like it's unless that's what people are, an independent, person is seeking. But generally speaking, part-time employment takes advantage of the employee. You don't have to do the benefits. So I love that you clued into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you have to weigh the cost benefit, right? I mean, there's a cost to finding employees, to that requisition. And if you are providing good jobs, full-time jobs, and good jobs with benefits, those people stay. And then you don't have to spend the money constantly grinding and finding people to come and work for you. Yep. So.
Love it. So this entrepreneurial background that you have, how will that, what part of that will be infused into how you operate within the city of Cedar Rapids? I mean, do you have ideas related to what you learned there? Or?
Yeah, I do actually. One of the problems that we faced in Champaign was, let's call it engineer flight. So as people graduated, the university is one of the top engineering programs in the country. And so as people graduated and they wanted to start their businesses, or they went to go work for businesses, they left. They were going to the West Coast or to the East Coast. And so we put together this campaign that really painted Champaign-Urbana as a place where you'd want to work, where you'd want to raise a family, where you want to start your business, right? It's affordable. The cost of living is low. You have a workforce because you have the university there. I mean, similar problems that we face in Cedar Rapids, we faced back then in Champaign. And so I think, bringing that mindset where we really paint Cedar Rapids as a place where you would want to start a business, where you'd want to raise a family. I mean, there's so much opportunity here. It's a matter of, it sounds simple to say that this is really kind of a marketing and branding campaign, but it is marketing our city as something that is desirable for not only for workers, but for business owners and for, people who are starting a family. It's a great place to be. The cost of living is like, I don't know, $700 or $800 a month, right? Where else can you do that? And then you think about our gorgeous riverfront area. I mean, there's so much attractive about our city that people just don't know about.
Yep. Yeah. So on the marketing side of things, I always thought we need like this 2-tier approach where we need to market to ourselves, because half the people that live here, either don't know about all the great things that Cedar Rapids has to offer, or they haven't explored it, or we just haven't been able to provide. So it's like, I think we need an internal marketing campaign and an external marketing campaign.
Right. Yeah.
Because we all need to be cheerleaders, for this town. And it really, it's disheartening to run into people that aren't excited to live here. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, then dude, what are you doing living here? Mm-hmm. Well, it's just where I'm at. Well, there's, a person like that is likely going to be unhappy wherever they're living. But what I like it about Cedar Rapids is just even yesterday, I found a new thing to do. It was it was out in Marion, but just like the greater community, that there's a new rock climbing wall out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, there's adventure to be found around every corner. What does our Black business community look like, and is it doing well, and should we be helping it out more?
Yes. The answer to all of those is yes. What does our Black community look like is something that I'm learning.
Okay.
I have met several Black business owners in recent months, actually, and many of them are doing very well. But we could be doing a lot more to increase Black business ownership, because for so many people, just because of the generational lack of wealth and opportunity, there's just not a whole lot of Black business ownership. And that's not unique to Cedar Rapids. And like I said, it's because of this generational wealth gap that we have. And so we could be doing a lot more, especially as we look to grow our entrepreneurs and grow our business owners. And this is as early as, middle school. We could be, going into the schools.
So you think that there's an active role that we should be playing in the schools to promote entrepreneurship and business?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And entrepreneurship should be, it should be an opportunity for our underprivileged groups. I mean, when I worked at Champaign, all of my entrepreneurs, like 95%, were men. And I thought to myself, why is this? Women should be in entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. It's a way to have a flexible career. You could, juggle your family life. I get that being an entrepreneur means you're working pretty much 24/7. But the reality is that as a professional, we work 24/7 anyway. And as a woman, we're constantly working and juggling the tasks of being a mom and a wife and a professional. And so there's no reason that entrepreneurship shouldn't be an opportunity for us. And I think now with social media, we have more and more women sort of diving into the digital space. Mm-hmm. But entrepreneurship doesn't discriminate, right? And so it is something that we all should have access to, women and people of color alike. So really starting to teach that at the young levels, and when you're teaching entrepreneurship, it's not just the theory of entrepreneurship and like the finance of it, but it's about the relationships and the networks and how you go about finding funding. I mean,
I would even say just knowing that it is possible.
Yeah.
Like giving somebody the idea that, like, yes, you can do, you could be a dentist, you could be a doctor, a lawyer, or a line worker or whatever, but you can be an entrepreneur too.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think it's something that we should encourage young people to do as early on as we can.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love entrepreneurship.
And you are a great mentor to so many.
Yeah. I'm doing what I can. I help people all the time
Yeah.
start businesses and problem solve their way through their businesses. And I do firmly believe that we should have more infrastructure around that. And one thing it's interesting is that the question about black business leaders in this community is that I would say, gosh, yeah, it's a handful. Like there's just a handful of people of black business owners in this town, and I think we can do better at that. So I'm glad you're into that. Is there a business sector that you are more excited about, or most, like, even if it's on a global scale, like, is there?
Well, I'm all about sustainability, and so moving towards a green economy. So if we think about a business sector that really is going to move us forward, it would be, sort of the green business sector. What that looks like practically, I am frankly just not that familiar, but that is where I would want to invest time and resource for sure.
What about manufacturing? I mean, I guess the green business sector could be, I mean, I guess.
It's broad,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
broad.
manufacturing could be part of that, right?
Right.
But what specifically are you thinking?
I mean, Cedar Rapids has such a huge manufacturing background, and I've always, like, one goal I have is to start a incubator for manufacturers specifically. If you're making something, and this is because I think there's a lot of help on the tech end of things, and of course that's a hot area, but it's like, man, we're going to consume products. We have this environment like we talked about earlier, these people with great work ethic in town, and we have infrastructure in this town that not every town has. I would like to get more people thinking about making stuff better, and even making it more sustainable. So when you win, I'll be hitting you up with
Let's
incubator.
make some shit.
Yes.
Can we say that?
Yes.
You can say it. You can
Let's
say
make
it.
some shit happen.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes. So, yeah. Do you own any, like, any weird domain names or anything like that? Are you the type of person
Oh my gosh, I actually do own, I don't know that I still own it.
What's the weirdest domain you've ever bought, or what do you?
I think it's freezethecheese.com.
freezethecheese.com.
So my husband is a plastic surgeon, and he's got this technology called cool sculpting. I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically you're not even freezing the fat. The technology is that the technology removes heat from your fat cell.
Oh, yeah.
And then the fat cell dies.
Yeah.
But the trendy thing is to just say it freezes fat, but it really doesn't freeze fat. It removes. Anyway, and so I was like, freeze the cheese. That is going to be a hit.
Dude, because like when you talk like on my thigh, if I have a little bit of cheese there.
Yeah,
okay.
it didn't. Nobody believed me, and
Freeze the
so it
cheese.
just is sitting there somewhere. But I think
That's-
I'm pretty sure I own freeze the cheese.
That's at least worth $49.99. I mean, yeah.
It's clever.
It's super clever.
I
Just
mean,
not
who wouldn't
drinkable.
want to freeze the cheese?
That's super catchy. I like it.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Maybe it'll go somewhere one day.
I bought cosmicfungus.com.
What does that mean?
I don't even know. I just
Cosmic fungus.
okay, here's what it was. All right. Is I was thinking about how we humans are basically just the fungus of the earth, and just, so I was like,
it seems like a blog as opposed to yeah.
I had a band that I called Cosmic Fungus for a while.
Oh, here's the
jam
truth.
band, and like we got all spaced out and everything, but that band failed. And,
I wonder why.
I know, right?
Gosh.
Right. So
What was your role in the band?
I'm a harmonica player.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Harmonica player, and I do vocals and some auxiliary percussion. I'm in a band right now. I play.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, well,
Don't
obviously,
you play at the Olympic?
once in a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll play.
And what's the name of the band?
The band is Dr. Z's Experiment. And the name, it's a weird thing, and sometimes we make you feel as uncomfortable as I feel sometimes, like right now. So let's change the topic.
Okay.
I feel like we're on Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, totally.
I'm kidding. Yeah, so we got to sort of wrap this thing up.
Okay.
The last official question I have for you is, how do you see the Economic Alliance working with the city of Cedar Rapids, working with the people of Cedar Rapids, and how does that play a role? Do you or will you have much influence in that? And just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I hope to. I mean, I hope that we can build that relationship to better serve the people of our community. I think there's a lot that we could do better in terms of communicating to the citizens of Cedar Rapids to let them know what resources are available to them. I think the Economic Alliance is doing a lot of great work, and the city is doing a lot of great work, but there's not much. I think we could build that relationship better, and then also, as I said, communicating out what's available to the businesses of Cedar Rapids, I think would be
I love it.
important.
It makes me think of like when Ron Corbett was mayor. I don't know if this was purposely done, but probably. But there was so much alignment between. It was like there was alignment between county, city, even the Economic Alliance, and then all the way down to the grassroots, like the people.
Yeah.
And so when you have that alignment between all the way from the bottom up, top down, the people and the city, and everybody's working towards the same goals, boom, look at all the progress that was made during that time period.
Yeah. There are a lot of issues there that we won't touch here, but
Am I wrong? You saw I'm wrong.
no, I think you're right.
Oh.
And I think we have gone far away from that. And now all of those entities are operating in silos, and we just have to break down those barriers. I think we'll be better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get everybody in a room, kumbaya. Let's do some cool shit.
Totally.
Yeah. Do you have any like last statements?
Well, I shared my fun facts that I taught Richard Sherman, and that Tiesta Tea was my first success. Oh, both of those are from my inaugural classes. Anyway, all of you have shared is cosmic
I'm
fungus.
interviewing you.
Well,
you don't come in here thinking you can
it can
interview
go
me.
both ways.
Okay.
It can go both ways.
I like it. You're a take charge kind of person. You're owning the room now.
Yeah, so give us your fun facts,
Shriver
Steve.
is losing traction here. Fun story.
I mean, you've had so many wild
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah. I think the most interesting story that I have is that I got stuck on a mountain in Argentina without food, and had to, and our families thought we were dead. And,
Oh, wow.
We literally my wife and family members are calling the Congress and Senate and trying to get us rescued off this mountain. There was
Why? What happened? How did you lose
well, we
contact?
were up on the mountain climbing
Yeah.
at about 20,000 feet, and it was a 22,000 foot peak. Mercedario, which also is the movie Alive, where they ended up eating each other. It's such a remote place that plane
Nice.
crashed on that mountain. It's still on that mountain. And so we're there leisurely climbing, and a huge earthquake happened up the valley, and it sent a big wall of water down.
Sure.
And this 80-foot wall of water wiped out the road that we drove in on. And President Bush was there a week prior in Buenos Aires, and he caused riots. And so they rescued, there's helicopters going everywhere, and they rescued all the people, all the miners, all the villagers, all these people. And they're like, oh, there's 6 Americans on a holiday. They can take care of themselves. And as Americans, we're like, oh, they're going to, at some point a helicopter will drop in and we're just going to get rescued. And it just didn't happen. So we ended up walking out of the Andes and living off of nothing for a while.
Did you sacrifice any humans and eat them, or you were able to
talked about
make it through? Okay.
Man, Chuck Huss was with me, and I was like, dude, he's
Wait, I know someone named Chuck Huss. I'm sure not the same person.
doctor in Iowa City.
No.
Okay, well, he's like this gnarly old wrestler guy, and he's a climber, and he's got no fat on him. I'm like, he would taste so bad. Just it'd just be so bad.
Gamey.
Dan, on the other hand, he's got a little bit of meat on his bones. Like Dan would have tasted good.
Oh my god.
What is happening here?
I know. Well, fortunately, it didn't get to that.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So, which is why when we got back, and Good Morning America wanted us on the episode, and we did some phone interviews, the fact that nobody died, it caused us. They didn't. They were like,
they weren't
not
interested.
interesting enough.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! So you should have eaten Dan.
Lesson learned.
You could be famous right now.
On that note, real talk with Amara Andrews.
It's been real.
Yeah. So honestly, I know that you're taking this really seriously, and your race, and so am I, and I'm glad we could have fun with this. But super appreciate the time. Can't wait to see you. With the victory.
I can't wait for that either.
That's
November 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'll look for that yard sign.
It's on the way.
All right.
Actually, it's downstairs in the car.
Hey,
I'll put it in the Bug Soother mobile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So cool. Thank you again to everybody out there in the hemisphere of entrepreneurship and Cedar Rapids community. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about this amazing person. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Have a great day.
The Steve Shriver Podcast is brought to you by Ecolips, the original lip balm. Use the promo code podcast20 for 20% off your first order at ecolips.com. Keep up with the show at steveshriverpodcast.com and the Steve Shriver Podcast on Facebook.